You guys really help me to learn new things every single day, so thank you. But for anybody that has been basically with me since I started this, you guys remember I did a video, like one of my first ever videos, and it was talking about how I feel that the Great Deception is going to involve these beings that we are now calling aliens. And in the video, I was saying that a lot of the things that I've been seeing and hearing through other people's experiences and through my own experiences and all of this sound like they fall more in line with these aliens being fallen angels as opposed to actual aliens. So, with that said, I was watching something, I can't remember if it was on YouTube or on TikTok, but either way, I was watching a video, and it was talking about how spirit beings, basically, an angel can manifest a human form. Obviously, you see multiple accounts of that throughout the Bible. But a spirit, or a demon, because it's two separate things, it can be a spirit or it can be a demon, those things cannot manifest their own bodies. That's why they have to possess a human or possess a living being in order to experience physical life again. Or at all, I guess. Prior to watching that video, I was watching another video. And this one was talking about, basically, the Nephilim. And for those that aren't really that familiar, the Nephilim are the hybrid children of the fallen angels and the human women. When the Bible talks about how basically the angels were cast out, and now that they were on earth, they saw the human women and thought that they were attractive and began to reproduce with the fallen, with the women. And it says that God was so displeased by that, that's why he sent the flood to wipe out anything that had been tainted by the fallen angel bloodlines that were supposed to be intermingling with the earth realm and earthlings. And that was the reason for the flood, basically, like the too long didn't read version. Now, it also said that because the Nephilim were half human, they were susceptible to death in ways that the angels were not because they weren't human. So, when the Nephilim died, their spirits still existed and roamed the earth, and that is basically what we consider to be demons today, but they are the children of these fallen angels. So, if you're following with me, and I'm going all over the place, you got the fallen angels, you got the Nephilim, and then you got the spirits of the Nephilim after the Nephilim were killed. And those spirits still are around today. They're the demons. Now, the Bible says in a few different places that when the devil, the main devil, and the fallen angels were cast out, it was like 1/3 of the fallen angels that were cast out. Now, it doesn't specify which of the angel hierarchies were cast out. So it doesn't say it was only powers, it doesn't say it was only principalities, it doesn't say it was only virtues. It just says 1/3 of all of them fell to earth. So, okay, what does this have to do with anything? One of the hierarchies, I guess you call it, of angels are something called thrones. Thrones are, if I'm not mistaken, I believe they are the closest as far as the hierarchy of proximity goes to God. The thrones are the ones that are said to carry God kind of to and fro if he decides to go that route. Understanding that I got, and if I'm wrong, please let me know, because I'm still learning, still understanding all this. But the understanding that I got was essentially that they are like sentient living vehicles or seats, moving seats or vehicles for God. With that said, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but with a lot of the weird kind of UFO videos that we've been seeing, maybe not just lately, but I'd say over the past, 20 years? I'm 30. I've been seeing them since I was like 12, so about 20 years. Have you all noticed that there seems to be like two different types of UFOs? Have you all noticed that there seems to be like two different types of UFOs? Like one type seems to be specifically just a vehicle. Like there are inhabitants in it that control it and make it go this way and that way and make it disappear and blah, blah, blah. But there's something operating. This first type. But then there's another type that seems to be like a living creature, kind of like in Nope a little bit. Like they move more fluidly, like fish or like creatures, or they can change form basically at will, and they can shapeshift and all. They seem to be alive.
News station accidentally covers UFOs.
Aliens? I don't know. What the heck is that? Oh, hello. That's crazy.
What's that? Jay, what's that?
Maybe a form of fallen angels. This picture right here is actually from a UFO summoning event. There are people out there that summon these UFOs. This has been going on for many years now. And typically the things they're summoning are, well, things like this, until it's not shit. Instead of seeing me. Here's another example of one of these shitty UFOs that then summoned some of these different events. I suggest you look this up, look up UFO summoning. And you'll find videos out there people saying they did this. But when you see what they're saying, it's the same as everybody else. It's a balloon. It's computer generated.
For basically a decade now, so I've seen a lot of stuff. Now, before I finish that thought, some other stuff that I've seen, because again, I've been looking at this stuff for basically a decade now, so I've seen a lot of stuff. Whenever they talk about the Greys specifically, the general consensus seems to be that the Grey, or maybe some Greys, because I know there's different types of Greys, but the more worker bee type Greys seem to be some type of organic, almost robotoid type thing. They operate very mechanically. They don't seem to have life. They are organic, but they're not. They don't seem to be necessarily living. Now, the tall ones are a different story. Those I've never heard any otherwise weird stuff about the tall ones. But the little ones, the worker bees, seem to be kind of like that. So this is my thought, and I might make this into 2 videos because it goes together, but it's, I guess, 2 thoughts. My first thought is, what if some of the fallen angels are actually thrones, and the things that we are perceiving in the group 2 UFOs that can move fluidly and seem to have some sort of life and sentience, what if those are fallen thrones? But we understand them as UFOs because that's what we've been conditioned to understand them as. What if those are actually thrones that got deceived by Satan, and now they're stuck here in the Earth dimension, the Earth realm? And going back to the Greys, with what I just said about the Nephilim, or about demons/spirits, they can't make their own bodies, but they can inhabit other bodies, right? If you guys have seen a lot of the weird kind of stuff that people talk about now. But one of the other things that I've heard a lot about, again, the kind of drone Greys, the worker bee Greys, is that they are created kind of like in a lab, like they're clones, basically. They're manufactured bodies. So with that said, this is my question. What if, number one, the living seeming UFOs that we see from time to time that move very fluidly and can shape shift and all that, what if those are fallen thrones? Number two, what if the Greys that are manufactured are actually manufactured bodies that are used to house Nephilim spirits, or other spirits, or just demons in general. So that way, they don't have to go through the trouble of possessing somebody, and they have their own body. And what if the reason that there seem to be two different types of UFOs, one that seems to be genuine UFOs, and then the other that seems to be manufactured by somebody's government?
It just seems shaped UFO, like something would be better than alien movie. And you're like, whoa, let's rewind that. Certainly UFOs in different types of shapes. You have spherical UFOs, cluster UFOs, and triangle UFOs. So the fact that there was a triangle UFO on this aircraft carrier never really said that UFO could be determined.
Members of Congress are on the trail of UFO seekers reportedly held by the Pentagon, including allegations that alien materials are being stashed and studied by aerospace contractors.
Now, at least one prominent defense contractor is letting it be known that it is actively seeking government contracts that might involve UFO technology. George Knapp has our exclusive story.
Somewhere in the vast Nellis Air Force complex, operated defense contractors working on weapons that may or may not proceed openly. Some claim that this is home to the military's original UFO installations. The thought since the 1760s, Koreans have not used this clearly become a major developing cutting edge weapons and systems for living. But unlike some of its larger competitors, Koreans doesn't shy away from a type long considered fringe or forbidden UFO. Since this is an engineered perspective, the powerful missile defense systems and foreign intelligence. The Stinson knows now is one of the places from false mysterious materials of unknown origin. The story first reported last month is that super secret program caused the NRB that has 51 military bases that can find over something with alien technology. That story spread all over the world. How it has been dismissed as mere folklore. The military agencies have some mysticism that even see those NRB and solid arms true. And legislatures telling them that possible is or tell what they know about saucers.
What if the reason there are two different types of UFOs are because the ones that are not manufactured, the organic ones, are the thrones, and you can't enter into those. But because the Nephilim spirits inhabiting the graves can't fly and do things themselves, the deal with these governments was to create replicas of the drones, so that way the graves can move to and fro and all of this and through dimensions and blah, 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 just like their daddies can. I could be way off base, but what if?